Yesorei Ushivui Vacharomei Dekoinomei Dechkinusei Beteilen Vatalin La Sheririn Bila Kayomin Nidra Sorrono lo isorei Ushibu isawino lo shibu
Fire!
Shapir kadamach lehavaya yaribon olam veyolmaya Atu malka melech malchaya melech malchaya Eile hamdali bi Usana veyana talei Eile hamdali bi Usana veyana
So yeah, I tried out a new intro with some new music. Hopefully that doesn't get copyright struck. But hey, Graham, how are you doing? Graham, you there? Graham, you there? I don't know what's going on. Here, let me try and see what okay, there. Hey, can you hear me? Hello? Graham, can you hear me? You're muted if you're talking. Hello? Shoot. Hello? Hello? Sorry, trying to troubleshoot this. Let's see. Graham?
Like an evening of
Did something change? Let's see. In the meantime, I'll just try and put something on and hope that his stream starts working.
Want to tell the Rebbe the words of the new song that we're singing with Mashiach, right? So I'm just going to read him. Am Yisrael, have no fear. Mashiach will be here this year. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait. Okay?
Is your mic working now? Graham? Shit.
Am I working now?
Oh, yep, it's working. So, here, let me just, give me one moment. Okay, so, oh, right, I know, this is actually something I wanted to cover last night, but you hopped off, and then I only figured it out after. So, here, so we're going to talk about the three mother letters, because this is, I think we're about to get into it, so.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It sounds like
Okay.
we're finally got the technical problems worked out.
All right, cool.
This is Caleb. Caleb was once a burnt out.
The letter Aleph is the first of the Hebrew letters. As you can see it is constructed from a yud above, a yud below, and a slanted vav simultaneously connecting and separating it. We're told that Aleph, as the first letter, is a very godly letter. That is why, of all the names of God, more names begin with the letter Aleph than any other letter. Interestingly enough, the name for a human being, Adam, also begins with an Aleph.
So created in the image of God.
Therefore, we're told in Kabbalah and Hasidut that the letter Aleph stands for the paradox of God and man. In this picture of the Aleph, God represents the upper Yud, man represents the lower Yud, and the slanting Vav represents the Torah that is connecting us together. The idea of paradox runs throughout the Aleph. And one way we can see this is not only in the physical form of the Aleph, but also in the fact that the number of Aleph equals 1, yet the meaning of the word
Is 1,000.
Aleph, 1,000.
Yeah, that's a really cool feature
So
of
here
it.
we have what's called the paradox of unity within plurality.
I love
The
the
level of
top, the
worlds,
first and the end.
one represents
Top and
the
bottom,
beginning
and the end.
of all process, what we will call cause and effect. Everything starts from one. An important example of this is what's called the binary system on which all computers are based. All computers are based on a practically endless series of zeros and ones. Even though the computer seems very complicated, it actually is based on a process of 0 and 1. So 1 represents the beginning of all earthly action, all cause and effect. On the level of souls, 1 represents the oneness of the Jewish people. We are told that even though we all have individual souls, and these souls are connected to larger and larger soul roots, ultimately, all Jewish souls are conceived of as one big unified soul. In the davening of Shabbat at Mincha time, we say, Ata echad, v'shimcha echad, u'mi ka'amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. You are one, and your name is one, and who is like the people of Israel, one nation in the earth?
So that word goy echad, it's being used to describe Israel. So a lot of people have this misconception that goy literally means Gentile, but it doesn't. It's within the context of hagoyim, the nations as opposed to Israel. So it's not saying that, it's literally not a word that means anything other than nation. So it's like the context is when you say the nations, the goyim, you're referring to the other nations. So it's goyim acharim, as opposed to, hagoy hazeh, this nation. So it's so strange how people have this negative view of the word now, even though it isn't a negative thing at all.
That's one of those examples of people taking a perfectly good word and weaponizing it.
Yeah, but so I do wonder how much. So on one hand, you have oppression that Jews face at the hands of other nations, and so as a result, you do get this sort of negativity wound up in the term in reference to that. But it's something that honestly, probably most of the use nowadays is actually ironic, or in order to kind of introduce anti-Semitism, to be using different catchphrases to imply that Jews are I don't even need to get into it, but basically it's just so strange because it seems to be most of the people that use it negatively today. So obviously you still do have Jews who use it, some might use it jokingly, some might use it because they're ignorant, but from what I've seen,
and then you do have some wacko, you have those the wacko people who use it in a negative sense. You always have a few wackos in every group. You
Yeah,
just have
but
to you have to accept that, yeah, and denounce the wacko.
definitely. But I have seen an extraordinate amount of that word being used by people who aren't even Jewish and being like using it negatively. And so as a result, people just see the word being used and they associate it with Jews using that.
When I use it ironically. I hope you recognize that.
Yeah, I do. But I think it's like in a lot of ways, it's a term that is in some ways it's like the N word, except for the fact that it's being used by the oppressed. So it's almost like I'd say it's actually maybe a bit more equivalent to the term. Well, I'm not even going to get into it just at risk.
No. Let's tie this back to the Kabbalah and stuff. Looking at the Aleph, this ties into what we were talking about earlier with the me and ma and the separation there. Because if you look at the yuds, the yud above and the yud below can stand for the me and the ma. And you have the separation in between, and part of it is that separation that's what he's talking about with the paradox, where you have a paradox in the immanent and transcendent with the earthly realm in between. So it's basically you have the immanent God and the transcendent God and his creation within himself there. I don't know if that resonates with you at all, Ariel.
Yeah, and it's like in order to have this creator creation, you have to have the separation, which is the Vav.
And God is separating himself, yes.
It's interesting because the word creation also implies separation.
Yeah, it's like the creation is God separating himself.
Yeah, let's see. So let's continue.
Just wanted to tie that back to actual Kabbalah.
Definitely.
That the power of the Jewish people comes from the unification of all the individual souls when they come together to form the great soul of all of Israel. And on the level of divinity, number one equals the idea of God being one, and not just God being one, but everything that he has created being one.
What he's citing there, Ariel, is that e pluribus unum principle that I cite. That out of the one many, when he's talking about all the souls becoming the soul of Israel, that's that e pluribus unum principle that I cite so much.
Interesting. How does that term e pluribus unum not get esotericized more? It's very clearly esoteric.
I have no idea. I've always viewed it that way.
It's like if you say something enough, it loses its it loses its significance.
It becomes part of an everyday. It's like the road outside. It's part of your everyday life, so you don't think about it. It's so common. It's no longer part. It's something you're conscious of.
Yeah.
And again, it's that principle of like you're a multicellular creature. Out of your many cells becomes a one Ariel.
Oh, so maybe that's also the idea of when the Legion says, or when the demon says, "We are Legion." Maybe it's even just in reference to a person.
Could be. I hadn't thought of that one. That could be a good catch. That's worth looking into.
Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, God our God, God is one. And we're taught the oneness of God is not the oneness of a number, because the oneness of God is unique. It's not just 1, 2, 3, but the unity of God pervades everything. So the basic meaning of the Aleph is the infinite God relating to a finite world, and especially man, and searching for the oneness within plurality.
Let's see, where's the next one?
I failed all of my classes in high school and ended up dropping out.
So air, it's also Aleph. It's also connected with avir, or air, and so this is mem for mayim, or water.
Mem is one of the 5 letters that has 2 forms. a form that comes
The first-
in the
So
beginning or middle of the word.
so actually, wow. I don't remember who it was. I think that might have been Sparks from Toe. So yeah, apparently the Sophites, they or the final forms of the letters, they came about during I think I forget what we found out, but it was like around the Roman era.
And a final form when the letter appears as the last letter of a word. The two shapes of the mem relate to water. The word for water in Hebrew, mayim, begins with one mem and ends with the final mem, with a yud in between. The normative mem represents a body of water. It's like a square, but there's an opening at the left. So these are running bodies of waters, springs, rivers, streams. The final mem is a closed body of water, an ocean, a lake, a pond. And we can see in the word mayim itself, it's very beautiful, that it's made up of the two forms of the letter mem and a yud, which is like a drop, the individual drops of water.
Not only that, so here, I'm going to pull it up for anyone who doesn't know Hebrew. Let's see. Oh, wait, I could just pull it up in Safari. Yeah. Shouldn't be that hard to find. So let's see. So water. An interesting thing with this is, so in between them, I'm not going to find anything if I search for that. Water. So here. Hamayim. So here you have a where is it? Oh, wait. Hamayim. So mayim lamayim. So here you have the first. You have the first mem. So this is the one that's representative, he's saying, of a river or like a stream. And here you have the close one, which is like a lake or an ocean. Well, even though you still have streams that run into them. And I guess that's why they're at the end, because at the beginning is the source of the water. The end is the destination of the water, which is the ocean or the lake. Wow, that's so interesting. Like, it's stuff that you would completely not think about except for if you're taught it. And I think that's why the tradition of transmission, like why sometimes there's things that, yeah, you could technically figure this out on your own, but it's so much easier to transmit the knowledge of.
The other thing that I think that you didn't pick up on there, Ariel, is the difference between moving water and static water. Because water is capable of doing both, and it has a representation for both. And sometimes you're going to want to represent water as being a moving part, and sometimes you're probably going to want it as a stationary part.
Yeah, and so the mem, not the mem sophit, can be anywhere in the word except for the end, so that implies it's moving. And the final one can only be in the end, so it's static.
Right. So yeah, and that encompasses both of it, where within a word, if you're going to have that, it's going to be in motion during the word, and it's going to end at the end. And it probably, if you're going to do it in a sentence wise, again, it's been a while since my Hebrew, you're probably, it may have additional meaning if you string a bunch of words together until it hits the final mem. And that might have more power, more meaning if you're stringing together a bunch of them that you can without having that final mem together. Because it basically would string more power from word to word, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
In the body of water. We all know that life is impossible without water. Water gives life. We can go weeks, maybe months without eating, but we can't go without drinking. And we also know that anywhere from 70, 80% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, and the human body is made up of water. So all of these connotations connect water to life. In the Talmud, there's an expression, Ein mayim ela Torah. There's no water other than Torah. And what they meant to say was that every mention of water in the Torah is an allusion to Torah itself. Just like water gives life, Torah gives life. There's a verse that says, Nachal Novea Mikor Chachma, a stream that is flowing from the source of wisdom. And we're told that Kabbalistically, that the Torah comes Nachal Novea. There's a verse that says, Nachal Novea Mikor Chachma, a stream that is flowing from the source of wisdom. And we're told that Kabbalistically, that the Torah comes out of the place called wisdom, Chachma, flows out like a river. So the letter Mem.
Not only does wisdom flow, but then you also have this idea that Chokhmah or wisdom is Hamekor Habracha, the source of blessing. And so this Makor also starts with Mem. So it means source and water. So it's the source of the water. And then you
No, I
also,
gotcha. It's sort of, it's a dual purpose. It's the source, and it's the water and the source of the water combined. Basically it's acting upon itself, much like
And-
we were talking about before. When you talk about the pipe sort of thing.
And then you also have the menorah, which is also representative of the the feminine, and as well as what is it? What was I thinking of? Mitzvah. Mitzvah or commandment is what is in the Torah. And so if the Torah is Mayim, then mitzvah is connected to Mayim through them all starting with them. Mem.
So in a sense, could mitzvah be like a boat carried through the Torah? The stream of the Torah sort of concept? Just a thought.
Yeah, it's hard to really analogize, but I get where you're going, and I mean for the sake of the concept, yes, but I don't really know exactly what you would liken it to. It's almost like maybe it's a part of it. It's something that exists within the Torah, but there's so many things that exist in the ocean. So it's almost like you could just say that like mitzvah is what is in Mayim. And just
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
Appears in the word Chachma.
Oh yeah.
Because it is connected to life and to wisdom.
That's interesting. So Choch. Oh, okay. This is trippy. So if you break down Chochma, you know what you get? Koachma. No. So here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's see. So, sure, let's tab instead. Wisdom. So let's see here. So Solomon endowed, endowed fault. Okay. Let's see, where's the wisdom? Let's see. Okay, his wisdom. So Chochma. Oh shoot, no. Endowed. Okay, here. Chochma. So if you switch these two letters, so Kaf Chet, that's Koach, strength or power, and then Ma is what, and then Mat is death. So Chochma is either the power of death, which I mean, I think no, that's a poor translation because this is like Chochmat Shlomo. So this is the wisdom. So Chochma Shel Shlomo. So basically, what is power? Wisdom is what is power, or I mean, there's a bunch of ways you could look at that, but
actually, I'm interpreting more as wisdom is the death of power.
Koach Mat. Oh, interesting.
Basically, in the sense of once you have the wisdom, power is dead to you. Because power can't overwhelm wisdom.
Let's see. So what happens if I... Okay, so this is interesting. I didn't know I could do this. So yeah, look at this. So I just highlight mat, that part of it. So dead, a dead person or a corpse, and then let's see, chak. what do I get from this? Yeah, so you would have to reverse it, but koach mat, the power of death, or death is, however you translate that. But then I still think it could also be koach ma. Power is what? What is power? It is wisdom. So you have both interpretations there, that wisdom is the death of power, but then wisdom is what is powerful.
And also, you have another one where power is basically the power over death.
Oh yeah, because
the ability to dispense death is power.
oh no, you're totally onto something, because let's see, where is this from? It's from it's not okay, let's see. Tree of Life. Okay, so it's Proverbs. So her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths peaceful. Eitz Chaim he, she is a tree of life, lemachazikim ba, to those who grasp in her, v'tomcheya, and those who hold on to her, meushar, are happy or blessed. The Lord founded the earth by wisdom, he established the heavens by understanding, by his knowledge the depths burst apart, and the skies distilled dew. Uschakim, yarafu, they dripped or trickled, dew. My son, do not lose sight of them, hold on to resourcefulness and foresight. V'yehiyu chayim lenafshecha, and you will have life for your soul. V'chen legargarotecha, and grace upon your throat. That's interesting translation. Then you will go on your way safely and not injure your feet. When you lie down, you will be unafraid. When you will lie down, and your sleep will be sweet. You will not fear sudden terror or the disaster that comes upon the wicked, for the Lord will be your trust. He will keep your feet from being caught. Wait, is this? Wait, is this? Whoa! Is it? Wait. Holy crap. Listen to this. Sons, heed the discipline of a father. Listen and learn discernment. So this is God talking, right? Where it says, heed the discipline of a father, right?
Well, they're definitely referring to the male, certainly.
For I give you good instruction, do not forsake my teaching. Yeah, so Torah-ti, do not forsake my Torah. Yes, this is referring to God. Here, look at this. Once I was a son to my father. Ki ben hayiti, because I was a son le'avi, to my father, rach, tender, v'yachid, and special, the tender darling, lifnei imi, before my mother. He instructed me and said to me, let your mind hold on to my words, keep my commandments, and you will live. Yeah, this isn't someone's father. This is literally God. Acquire.
Well, how can God be talking about being instructed by his father if he's the creator?
Because this is Proverbs.
Okay.
He instructed me and said, let your mind hold on to my words, keep my commandments, and you will live. Acquire wisdom, acquire discernment. So, kaneh chokhmah, buy or acquire wisdom, kaneh bina, acquire wisdom. Al tishchach, do not forget, ve'el tet, and do not swerve, or do not like err. Me imre p, do not err from the words of my mouth. Do not forsake her, and she will guard you.
It's worth noting that there is a difference between wisdom and discernment. Those are two different properties or talents.
So this is the interesting thing. Based off of everything that I've studied, the two handmaids of the Shekhinah are Chokhmah and Bina. And the Shekhinah is connected with, both. So, it gets tricky, but both Malchut and Yesod. But the point is that Chokhmah and Bina are understood as being handmaidens of the Shekhinah, at least within my understanding.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're not the same thing. They're understood as being like twins of each other, essentially.
Right, that's how I understand them. Is they're basically perpendicular aspects. It's like discernment is the male one. That's the penetration sort of aspect, and wisdom is experience and having lived it, the experience, and knowing what's going to happen.
I see what you mean. So, so do not forget and do not swear from the sayings of my mouth. Alta azeva, do not forsake v'tishmorech, and do not forsake, and do not forsake her, and she will protect you. Ahavea v'tirtzech, love her and she will protect you. Reshit Chochma Kanei Chochma. The beginning of wisdom is acquire wisdom. Chochma. Ubekol Kanyanecha, and of all your acquisitions, Kanei Bina, acquire discernment, or with all your acquisitions. Sal Sleha. Salal, lift her up. So lift her up. Oh no, she will exalt you. Utromemech. Wait, hold on. No, I guess this is translating it as hug her, but so exalt or lift her up, vitiromemech, and she will exalt you. Tachaver, techavedcha, she will honor you. Ki, because to have kena, if you embrace her, chavak. Titen leroshecha, she will give to your head. Liviatchen, a wreath of glory, or no, a wreath of grace. Ateret tiferet, and Tibganecha. Oh, she will deliver upon you a crown of glory. And so here you have Chen is a reference to Hod, and Tiferet is obviously a reference to Tiferet. And then up there you have Bina and Chochma. So she'll adorn your head with a graceful wreath, crown you with a glorious diadem. My Shama B'nei, Shema B'nei V'kach Amrai. So listen, my sons, and take my words. V'yirvu, and you and you will have a multitude lecha for yourself. Shenot chayim, years of your life, or years of life. I instruct you in the way of wisdom. B'derech chochma herotich, in the path of wisdom. Herot, I instruct. Hidrachtich, and I will guide you b'ma'agle, in courses yosher, of righteousness. You'll walk without breaking stride. When you will run, you will not stumble. Hold fast to discipline. Do not let it go. Keep it. So this word discipline, musar, it's connected to tradition as well. But keep it as your life. Do not enter on the path of the wicked. Do not walk on the way of evil men. Avoid it. Do not. Okay, wait. Where is it? Let's see. It might be further down. Yeah, this must not be it. What I was looking for, but it is from Proverbs. Okay, here it must. Is this? Here it is. Unless it's further up. Okay, wait, is it?
Yeah, because what I'm getting when they're talking about wisdom is basically experience, and it's knowing how things have turned out from the past. And if you know that with wisdom and embrace it, you'll know when you hit a similar situation how to navigate it the best. And that's definitely one of the something I'm extracting from that. How does that resonate with you, Ariel?
Definitely. I think that, if you know, it's kind of like the foreknowledge allows you to see what will happen ahead of time, not because you're seeing the future, but because you know what will happen if things continue.
And it's like the difference with discernment is more penetration. It gets into why things turned out that way. Wisdom is that it turned out that way. So if you repeat, it's like a recipe. Repeat this, it'll go that way. And discernment is how you can tinker with it, how you can add a spice here to make it better or something. That's sort of my take on it. And that's why you want that in your acquisitions, so you can sit there and see within the object to know which one is the better object to have.
Definitely.
How's, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find the, okay, it's let's see. Wait, maybe it's happy is the man. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Happy is the man. Finds wisdom, man who attains understanding, blah 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 blah. Is this the same one? Wait, so how am I getting this? It is wait, what? Wait, if it's not Proverbs, what's the other one that has a lot of it's not Proverbs, it's wait, let's see.
Psalms, maybe?
Listen to me, my sons. Okay, here it is, Proverbs 8. So, yeah, okay, so, let's see, where is this? So, okay. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. So, Yirat Adonai sonat ra. So, the fear of the Lord is the hatred of evil. Gea vegava, or gea vegaon. So, pride and duplicity, or like pride and arrogance. V'derech ra, and the path of evil. Upi hateti kufot. And duplicity in mouth. Sinoti, I hate. So like basically duplicity in speech. Minor counsel and resourcefulness. So this word lietza, for me, or for my bones maybe. Toshia. Interesting. This is another. So it's wisdom, sound knowledge, success. Ani bina li gevura. So ani bina. I am understanding. Li gevura, courage is mine, or strength is mine. Bi mlachim yemalchu, through me kings rule. Verezonim yechokeku tzedek, rulers decry justice. Bi sharim yasharu, in me princes reign or rule. U nedivim, nedivim, like volunteers or great men. Kol shoftei tzedek, all of them are righteous men. Those who love me, I love. So ani ahavea, or ohavai, ehav, I love those who love. Umishacharai, and those who go after me. Yimsani, they will find me. Riches and honor. So oser v'kavod, riches and honor belong to me, enduring wealth and success. My fruit is better than gold, fine gold, and my produce is better than choice silver. I walk on the ways of righteousness. Be'orach tzedakah, I walk on that. Betoch netivot mishpat, and on the like paths of justice. I give those to those. I give to those who love me, or I endow those who love me with substance. I will fill their treasuries. Now you get to Yahweh Kanani Reshit Darcho Kedem Miflaov Meoz. So the Lord acquired me at the beginning of his works. So here it translates as created, but literally it's acquired. In a distant past, I was fashioned. Meolam nisachti b'rosh mikad me'aretz. So in an eternity past, I was poured out from the head, or from the source, or no, literally from the head or the top. Mikad me'aretz, from the beginning or the source of the earth. There was still no deep when I was brought forth, no springs rich in water. Remember, mayim is also chokhmah. Before the foundations of the mountains were sunk, before the hills, I was born. And so this word for born, it's actually cholalti. So it means to swirl, or to kind of like travail, be in anguish, be pained. It's referring to birth pains. Any thoughts so far? You're muted if you're talking.
Sorry. No, you definitely have the whole motion aspect of the spring. That's what it's like, that birth aspect. It definitely has that spring aspect, like springing out of the earth.
Definitely. And so he not yet made he had not yet made earthen fields or the world's first clumps of clay. I was there when he set the heavens into place, when he fixed the horizon upon the deep, when he made the heavens above first and the fountains of the deep gushed forth. So that here it's using tehom like a lot. So the deep it's referring to as tehom. When he assigned the sea its limits, so that its waters never transgress his command, when he fixed the foundations of the earth. I was with him as a confidant, or literally as a architect or a creator. So here's where it gets interesting. Sa'asuim yom yom, like pleasures or a source of pleasures, yom yom, day to day, or a source of delights. Then misacheket lifanav bechol et, playing or rejoicing, playing, laughing, or mocking. I don't know how they're getting rejoicing. This is definitely a context of play. Let's see. So there's laugh, sporting or playing, including musical or instrumental. I wonder if, let's see. So
they definitely have the idea of creation being an act of play, which again, going a little bit tangential, echoes Piaget with the idea of play being the basis of all interaction.
what's Piaget?
Piaget was the French psychologist.
So yeah, and here you see Misacheket Betevel Artso, playing in the table of his world, or like the his inhabited world. V'sa'asuai, and finding delight or taking pleasure or enjoyment et b'nei Adam, in the children of Adam. Ve'ata banim, and now children, shimuli, listen to me. Ve'ashrei darchai yishmeru, listen to me and I will bless, or well, you could read this as happy are those who follow, or who keep my ways. But I mean, you do also have this parallel in the other parts where it says, those who listen to me, I will protect. And here it's saying, ve'ashrei, happy are those, or blessed are those, drachai yishmeru, who guard my path. So here, it's like it has this duality, like above and below versus below and above. You see what
Definitely.
So yeah, so he disciplined. So shimu musar, the chachmu, and become wise. The al tifra'u, and do not spurn it. Ashrei Adam shomei li, happy is the man who listens to me. Lishkod al.
And that discipline and wisdom is sort of that idea of pain extracting wisdom. Go on.
What do you mean?
Oh, that's just one of the concepts that I've always gone with, is the idea of wisdom, that wisdom showing you the right path, and the idea that if you stray from that path, you're going to end up with more pain than if you had followed the wiser path. Not that any path is pain-free. So it's the idea of, to learn that right path, you're going to, the wisdom that you gain is the pain that you suffer from having followed the wrong path. Learning from mistakes sort of concept.
Cool. So, happy or blessed is a man who listens to me. Lishkod al daltotai yom yom, who watches upon my dalatot, my doors or gates, yom yom, day to day, so every day. Lishmor mezuzot patchai, and who guards the who waits or guards the doorpost of my entrance. So in this is it's saying the doorway of the entrance to wisdom, but it's also, it's being paralleled within a physicality, or like a physical place. So here's where we get to the part. Kimotzi or kimetzai, kimotzi or matzah, chayim. So he, because the finders, or those who find life. Wait, no, wait. Those who find me, because the finders of me find. Wait, is this? Wait, matzi, matzah. Wait, I'm confused. Is it for me who? For he who finds me finds like. Wait. Okay, hold on. So ki motzi, because they who find me, matzachayim, find life. V'yafek, and those who and obtain ratzon, favor, me Adonai, from the Lord. But choti, the haters of me, chomes, they this is actually the same. This is the I mean, it's not like Hamas named themselves after this, but this root Hamas. I mean, it is in Arabic too, so it could. I mean, but I don't know. It might just be one of the synchronicities. But Hamas, it means to wrong, to do violence to, treat violently, or do wrongly to. So the haters of me, they destroy nafsho, their own souls. Kol misan. All those who hate me, ahavu, they love mavet, death.
They're having some of those blessing curse doublets there, where you have the blessing and then you have the curse afterwards and such.
So yeah, this is it's really interesting because it's basically saying that if you want to be right with God, you have to be right with wisdom. And this isn't just like you have to be wise. This is saying you have to be right with wisdom, as in the entity wisdom. And it's like, okay, well, what does that even mean? And then once you start going into that, you realize that wisdom is just one of her many names.
Exactly. Being right with the Holy Spirit, basically.
Yeah. But then it's like, okay, so what does that mean, the Holy Spirit? Does that mean the Holy Spirit is the Holy Spirit of God? Or like basically, is it God's Holy Spirit, or is it a Holy Spirit that's associated with God?
Well, how do we discern between those two? Because I'm always they could be exactly the same thing, just from different perspectives.
So I guess what I'm saying is this Holy Spirit, is it just one of, is it just another angel, essentially? Like, you have Gabriel, you have Michael. Is it just another one of those? But when you look into it, you realize that especially remember that passage where we read about talking about where it's talking about, because see, this is the interesting thing. I think
the Holy Spirit is that me. The me from what we were talking about the other day. That's that water part of it.
So interesting. I would actually say it's probably the Elohim, because it's the because like when you're dealing with so Elohim, the name where it's combining Ele and me, which you just brought up. So these and who. That's understood as emanating forth from Bina, which is connected with the Holy Spirit or with the Shekhinah.
Right. It's the emanation aspect that's going to be inherently female.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just kind of interesting because it's almost like this idea that when, I just thought about something. So you know how
it's the I was going to say it's the emanator emanation. It's the you have the emanation and you have the emanator, and the two combined. And the emanator is the male part. The emanation is the female part. And that's sort of the combination of the two. Sorry, had to get that out, Ariel. Go ahead with what you were saying.
No problem. So do you know where the concept of the Sitra Achra actually originates? And just for those who don't know, the Sitra Achra is the other side.
No, I don't know where that started.
So, okay, change other and change. So what's the so the other side is essentially the negative side, right?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's negative. You're talking about one of those inversions. It's like a half a turn almost. If you know physics, it's like the electron. Electron has to go 2 rotations in order to basically do 1. And it's sort of that sort of concept, an Ouroboros kind of thing. Different sides of the Ouroboros.
I don't necessarily mean negative in a like moralistic sense, but just kind of like negative versus positive.
Oh, polarity sense. Gotcha. No, that makes sense then. We're on the same page now.
So let me see if I can find it. Let's see, where is it? Let's see. Is this sorry, I'm just trying to find it first. But basically, you know, this idea that no one can see the face of God and live.
Yeah, that was from Moses.
So there's also this tradition that Moses spoke with God face to face as one speaks to a friend. So if you look into the understanding of this, the understanding is that Moses basically spoke to God, but God was turned away from him. So the face of God wasn't facing him, but he was in the presence of God. And so maybe it's not that. So basically the understanding is, okay, so Moses was facing the backside of God, but it wasn't like he was facing the ass of God, if that makes any sense. He was facing God's other side. And that's one of the reasons why I think the Sitra Achra is connected with the Shekhinah and with like the feminine, because it's not saying that like it gets later interpreted as that, because from what I understand, the Sitra Achra is also like connected with the world we live in, actually. I might be mistaken on that, but basically that we're it's this idea that we're not in the, you know, eminent presence of God, but that when we encounter, you know, the immanence of God, we're actually still encountering his backside, but his backside is his feminine side. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, but I'm coming at it from an entirely different angle from it, because my take on not being able to see God's face is because the ultimate nature is one of choice. And all you can see is the results of the choice. You can't necessarily see the chooser. And it's sort of almost a joke that you can't see God's face because all you can see is what God does. And that's the idea of then that would be the emanations, which would be the feminine coming, that the choices, the results of the choices are going to be the emanations from God, and that would be the feminine aspect. So we're definitely coming to exactly the same sorts of conclusions, but from a different part of the forest, so to speak. What do you think, Ariel? You're muted.
Sorry, can you just repeat that last part one more time?
We're coming to the same conclusion from different parts of the forest.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the part I didn't hear. So yeah, let's see. So where was the video we're watching?
Which is always nice. It's always nice when you come to the same conclusions from a different standpoint.
Yeah, it's like you're able to see it from a different perspective, and you increase the resolution.
Exactly. Stereo vision, so to speak.
Yeah. So here, let's watch this, and then hopefully we can try to finish this one, and then we'll move on to Shin really quick, and then we'll maybe get into like a chapter of Sefer Yetzirah, because it's already kind of late. But yeah, here. So
the Mem is the 13th letter of the Hebrew letters. 13 spells the word ahava, love.
Oh,
and this is connected to how many poets relate to love as flowing like water. There's an aspect of water that reminds us of love. 13 is an important number because it's the number of what are called the 13 midot of Rachmim.
Also, how
the 13 aspects of compassion. Compassion, of course, is connected to love. So the letter Mem is connected to all these ideas: life, love, wisdom, and Torah. And this is manifest very much in the number of Mem, which is 40, because Moshe spent 40 days on Mount Sinai to receive the Torah. This is not a coincidence. The number 40 represents Torah itself. And because of the shape of the Mem and being a square, as we've learned many times in the discussion of the letters are archetypal forms. So the letter Mem represents the square, which is also a type of cycle, a self-contained cycle. So therefore, we have many, many different cycles in the Torah that have to do with 40. We mentioned one already, that Moshe spent 40 days on Mount Sinai to receive the Torah. In actuality, he spent 3 periods of 40 days, because after the sin of the golden calf, he spent another 40 days asking for forgiveness for the Jewish people, and a third 40 days where he received the second tablets of the law.
And the 40 days and 40 nights of the
We
flood,
spent 40
which is water.
years in the desert. There were 40 days of rain that came at the time of Noah, when the world was renewed again. And a very, very important connection is that we talk about the 9 months of pregnancy, but it's really 9 full months, which are 40 weeks. The Talmud talks about 40 weeks of pregnancy. And what is the environment that the fetus is in the womb? Water. So in all of these connections, we see that the Mem is a letter of life, a letter of birth and of cycle,
Wow, this is
of
fascinating.
connecting to wisdom.
They also echo that in the
The-
New Testament
an
with Jesus,
appropriate
40 days in the
meditation
desert, in the
Would
wilderness
be
as
to
well.
envision
He also walks on water. So it's saying he's master over wisdom.
Good catch there. No, I hadn't put that one together. Nice call.
That, and also it might even be a reference to Asherah, because Asherah, one of her names was I think it was Rabat Atirat Yami, and it means wait, so the first word I said, it was Rabat, so it means lady Atirat, or it means the treader, Yam of the sea. So either Lady Atirat of the sea, or Lady Atirat who treads on the sea, or the lady who treads on the sea. And this is like a scholarly interpretation. This isn't just some schmuck making this translation up.
You mean like I do? Yep.
Hey, you're not just some schmuck.
Oh, I have my schmuck moments. I own that.
Yeah, but the point is, you're not just some schmuck.
Okay, gotcha.
body of water, whether a stream or a river or a spring, and to, in a sense, feel it encompassing one's body and one's soul, and how that can connect us to the wisdom of the Torah and the wisdom of God.
Interesting. So the wisdom of the Torah and the wisdom of God. The Torah is the wisdom of God. So then what's the wisdom of the Torah? So not if
You're
I'm
talking
shit.
reflections of reflections.
Yep.
I should say refractions of refraction.
Reflections of refractions.
The letter Shin, according to our sages, is a
Speaking of like reflections or refractions or fractals, look at this. The shin with three arms has another shin emanating out from it. So it could only be natural to assume that this shin also has 3 coming out of it. And it basically is a fractal, 3 out of 3 out of 3 out of 3 out of 3.
Exactly. I noticed that one immediately.
letter of fire. If you look at the Shin, it has 3 flames. And in fact, the word in Hebrew for fire is Aish, Aleph Shin. The Shin is the fire, and the Aleph
Is the air.
is Avir, air. We know that
can't
fire
have fire
cannot
without
exist
air.
without air. So fire is a vir giving life, as it were, to the fire to burn. The three flames of the
And this is interesting because not only that, what happens if you take away the air from a fire?
Fire goes out.
But it makes a noise.
Okay.
Think about it. Like, I mean, this is more so if you put out fire in water, how it makes a... Actually, here, let me pull this
Yeah.
up because this is a reason I thought of it. But theoretically, you could also have this with, like, a bonfire that goes out or something. But let's see. So, let's see. Havdalah.
No, I know the noise you mean with the water. Yeah, no, I was thinking the petering out with the just sort of taking out the air. And of course, if you take out the air, is that, in space, no one can hear you scream.
So I was actually in this youth group. I know these people. They're really, really cool. Really great
No.
people. So
Cool.
here, check this out. So this is for anyone. I mean, obviously you know Havdalah, but for anyone who doesn't. And wow, okay, so interesting. You also have, and we'll go into this when we cover the Sefer Yetzirah, but basically this idea of you have the smells, you have the you have the sights, and then you have the tastes. But and you have that all with Havdalah. I mean, nowadays some people still share wine, but especially since COVID, it's kind of just stupid. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, it's never been that smart to swap spit through sharing drinks. But I mean, I get, it's like there's definitely a communal aspect of that, but it's like, I don't know, not
Well,
my thing.
part of the aspect of that is how the immune system works, because it works through sort of mini natural vaccinations where you're exchanging a little bit of the various viruses and stuff in the environment and building up your antibodies to it that way. So from that standpoint, an occasional communal exchange of viruses does make a certain amount of sense for the overall health of the community. So the whole community gets a certain amount of immunity to the common bugs in the community. Just speaking off the top of my head there. Again, as always, there are going to be individuals where that's going to be the worst possible thing for them.
Yeah, but like in the case of, for instance, if you have a disease spreading, that's how it's going to spread. And in fact, there were a lot of outbreaks throughout. I mean, not even just this recent pandemic, but also throughout the history. Through like even going back to the Black Plague, you see records where churches became hotbeds of contamination because of that reason. So it's like, yeah, maybe in good times of good it works, but when things go bad, it flips into a very bad thing.
Absolutely. That's why you were wondering how it came about. It's like I can see why it came about under normal times, but as I always sit there and say, everything in moderation. It's all about the right balance. You got to know when to stop doing that thing that was good in normal times.
Definitely. So here, I'll stop and explain what.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri
So yeah, it's interesting. The fruit of the vine, it doesn't specify that it's actually wine, even though it probably is. It just means any vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech
trying to think. Wait, what was the first one? Because I was kind of okay. So the first one is who creates the fruit of the vine. So the fruit of the vine, you taste that, you drink that. So that's connected with, and this is one of the things that Tohu Sparks from Tohu was saying, is that so you have the mem, or so you have the shin, the aleph, and the mem. And the aleph separates the two. So it's kind of like the divider between the two, almost like with the aleph, how there's the yud above and the yud below, and then there's the vav in the middle. So the aleph, in the case of the three letters, is the vav in the middle. It's the separator that allows fire and water to exist separate, because it's kind of like, if without the water, or without the air, the water will spill into the fire and cause it to go out, or the fire will evaporate off the water. But the air keeps the two distinct. But then with this, there's also this idea that, and I mean, I was pushing back on the idea that, it had to be this way, because I tend to think that, well, we could just be interpreting it this way because this is the way that things are. So it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing. But basically, so with our face, so you have shit, or like a shin, like emanating from our eyes, or like from the top of our head, an aleph in the middle of our face, and then a mem in our mouth, and it corresponds also to so that's like with the face. But if you look at the entire body, then the head is the shin, the chest is the aleph, and the mem is the stomach. And that's because you see with your eyes, and with your head, and the head's also connected with fire generally, but then you breathe through your lungs, and you eat and drink with your stomach, or into your stomach. And so it's this idea, so you have shin, aleph, mem, shin, aleph, mem, because you see with your eyes, you smell with your nose, or breathe with your nose, and you taste and eat and drink with your mouth. And so, I don't know, it's just really interesting. But with this, so far we've seen the wine, so starting with mem, now we're going to aleph, because this is who creates fragrant spices, that which we can smell, that we breathe in. And it gets really interesting.
No, I also find it interesting that it leaves out the touch and hearing senses, which are more contact senses, as opposed to the taking them into your senses, like we were talking about the other day, which is taste, smell, and sight.
Interesting. Wait, so what other ones are missing? So we have sight, smell, and taste, but we're missing touch and hearing.
Right. Because we were talking about that with the when you with the various senses, you could not eat, but you couldn't help yourself but smell. We were talking about that the other day. With the prohibitions, you can stop your ears, but you couldn't. You can avert your eyes, but you couldn't basically. You couldn't help yourself but smell, because you have to breathe.
1 second. I'm just posting the link to this somewhere in case anyone's interested. I mean, who's going to be interested at, 3 a.m. practically? So yeah, we should probably get to this after Yetzirah soon. But let's see. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to send this link at 3 a.m. People are going to think I'm crazy. It's one thing to stream at 3 a.m. It's another thing to send it to a link of people who don't even know you're streaming in the first place.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, so
you can tell them tomorrow. It's like, hey, I streamed you at 3 a.m. That's a little less crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, so here, so we've had the mouth, so mem, and the nose, aleph. Holy shit! Oh my god, this is so trippy. I know some of these people. Wow. Oh wow, that's why. That when I was still in this. It's a high school. Yeah, who creates the light and the fire? Oh wow. Okay, this is wild. So yeah, it perfectly parallels the this concept of man Eilish Shin. Literally, it fits the paradigm perfectly. So then the next thing is actually connected to the idea of spirit. So this is the holy and the ordinary, the sacred and the mundane. And the sound that it makes when you extinguish. Wow, I never even thought about it. So within the fire, you have fire and air, and then the wine and the water. Wow. So I'm going to try to find the video of, let's see, Havdalah candle sizzling. And I totally misspelled sizzling.
That whole division between sacred and profane is one that I always felt was a little more arbitrary than a lot of people wanted to make it.
Oh, you mean that there is really no separation in the grand scheme of things?
Ultimately, yes.
All right, let's see.
You're kind of fooling yourself to think that things are actually profane. It's a matter of perspective to a certain extent. Obi-Wan truths, as I like to say. So now
we're searching for the magic.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said Obi-Wan truths, as I like to say. True from certain perspectives.
We're told we should light this twisted candle, but one is that we know that it brings much more of a light than we would have by just a regular candle. It's
also something observed. So not only is it braided, but you have 3 braids.
Waste the light. But there's another tradition that teaches us that when Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden,
you have to have 3 strands in order to braid. Otherwise, it's just a twist.
Well, but think about that. What does that mean? Like, there's an esoteric dimension to that, because it's the 3. It represents Shin, but it also represents Shekhinah, and it represents this idea that you have like Keter, then Chokhmah, and then Bina, and then that's when you finally have creation. So it's interesting. I mean, the more that I learn about Kabbalah, the more I'm convinced that like the whole basically, if you delve into a lot of like Christian theology and philosophy, it has its roots in Kabbalah. And not to say that it has its roots in 10th century Kabbalah, but it has its roots in like Jewish mysticism. And it's funny. People will admit there's plenty of Jewish mysticism in Christianity, but when you imply that there might be Kabbalah, they're like, "Oh no, how dare you say that?"
Well, the person that, if you want to do the dive into where all of that, I think, ties into a nice little knot, you need to go into Philo.
Oh yeah,
there's a reason why the Jews ignore Philo. And the Christians ignore Philo.
It's because it shows the connection between the two.
And it also shows it at a different level, where it's almost like Philo's better than either of the other two separately.
It's funny. Neil's actually been trying to. Well, I mean, before I made my YouTube channel, he was trying to get me to like use like a kind of like a naming convention around like that. I'm going to be like the Philo of YouTube, or not Philo, but like the Aristobulus of YouTube. And then lately, was it a few days ago? He was like, you're like the Senkunier, or no, this was last night when I was arguing with with Sparks of Tohu about the planetary correspondences. And so Neil was saying that I'm the YouTube Sen Kunyathon. I'm like, no. I mean, I don't. I haven't even read half of these people, to be completely honest. Though I'm getting in a book about I think it's by Michael Coogan about ancient Canaan, and then once I start cracking into that, I might try and start reading Philo and Aristobulus and Sencuniathon, because there's so much interesting stuff there.
No, absolutely. It's so much of that stuff is under explored. It's an explosion in what's going on. It's like what the stuff Lit was doing and all those people into those early groups.
Yeah. So here, let's continue.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking with the three twisted together, was what we were talking about the other day with that generative process that we were talking about.
It's also interesting because I forget how the braid works. I forget if the middle one changes position at all, but yeah, you do have the shifting around, the shuffling. It's like the roles reverse in each iteration. It's almost like different emanations.
And that sounds like it may capture what I was talking about, where it's that 720 degrees in order to do the repetition, like an electron has.
Interesting.
So when we hold our fingers up to the light, we try and see the light through our fingernails, imagining what it would be like if we still had God's protective covering over us. Baruch atah Adonai.
So I wonder if maybe within feeling the fire, there's also this, idea of you're touching it, and then also by singing, you're hearing it. So you do get all five senses, but in terms of the actual the objects that are correlated to it, you have sight, smell, and taste.
Well, the ones that the two that you didn't pick up on there, the first one I'm surprised on there is by feeling it, that's similar to that passing your hand over that you were talking about yesterday or the day before.
Mm-hmm.
With the blessing sort of thing, but in both cases, and also with the singing, you're interacting with the flame. The flame responds to the hand and the voice. So there's additional interaction with the divine sort of concept.
So when you say it responds to the voice, you mean like the vibrations or the wind?
Yeah, both the vibration of the sound and the wind of the breath.
Okay.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei me'orei ha'esh. We praise God, creator of the light of the fire. The last blessing that we do is the blessing over separation. We praise God not only for having given us the beauty and the sacredness of Shabbat, but for also having given us the rest of the week. We praise God for allowing us to distinguish between the sacred and the profane. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavdil bein kodesh lechol. We praise God who separates the sacred from the profane. You then dip the candle into the wine to honor that Shabbat has officially now come to a close.
So here, I'm going to turn.
I was going to say, what that tripped in me is the difference between sacred and profane. That's that eating of the fruit of good and evil. And that ability to have that separate perspective to determine for yourself what's sacred and profane, and to have that be different than God's sacred and profane. And that being the ability to do that, it's the ability to do that is the ability for good and evil. And the fall is when you choose differently than what God would choose. Just wanted to get that out. What do you? So how's that working for you, Ariel?
So do you mean that the ability to distinguish is actually the choice, right?
No. It's like the choice is a result of the ability to distinguish. Before you have the ability to distinguish, you can't choose. You just do naturally. You follow on. You're running on instinct. Once you have the ability to choose, it becomes conscious, and you don't have a problem as long as you're choosing what God would want you to choose, i.e., in this case, what the the Torah, the all of that would tell you to say.
So
On the other hand, to choose, you now have the ability to choose differently than God, and when you do, that's the fall.
Okay, because I was getting confused when you said like that you have the ability to determine for yourself. I didn't know if you meant like determine your own like right and wrong, or if you meant like
that's what I meant, to determine your own right and wrong, and that to determine your own right and wrong that's a result of having eaten from the fruit of good and evil.
Well, but at the end of the day, there isn't that, like within this context, there isn't an idea of your own right and wrong, but rather just the ability to decide for yourself that you can do your own thing, even if it's not what God wants. Or am I misunderstanding?
I think you're I'm not speaking to exactly what they're talking about with the Shabbat stuff. I'm speaking a little more generically. So we may be.
My confusion is because you also said that you the ability to distinguish is what creates the ability to make a choice, but this idea like to do and that it seems like you're implying that you're supposed to do what God wants you to do, but then it also, I'm confused because I thought you were also saying that you have the ability to choose what is right, like in your own eyes.
I'm saying both. Think of it as what distinguishes us from the animals. Animals, they go about doing their thing. They're doing it on instinct. They're not really doing it consciously. And that's why they don't, and that's the eating of the good and evil. You can now consciously choose. It's like, because they're running on instinct, they're running on God's plan. So they're inherently choosing what God would choose. And they can't alter their perspective to a different perspective of good and evil. That's sort of where I'm going with it.
The only reason I push back so hard on this is, I mean, because I do agree with you, but just let's see, is it here? Is it everyone?
I want you to push back. I want you to push back, Ariel.
Oh yeah, I know. If you just wanted me to repeat what you were saying, I wouldn't bring you on. All right, so
it's so great to hear you say that. That says so much about you.
All right. So also, likewise, I don't want to just, affirm what you're saying, and I don't want you to just affirm what I'm saying. Otherwise, it's just an echo chamber. All right. So here. So also, why was the vow not to give daughters in marriage to the remnant of the tribe of Benjamin not annulled? One of the main reasons for this national paralysis could have been the absence of a central authority at the time. After all, the era had been characterized by the Book of Judges as, in those days, there was no king in Israel. Ein melech b'Yisrael. Here, I'm gonna, here. So let's see. Vayehi beyamim, and so it was in those days. Bayamim hahem, in those days. Umelech, that there was no melech. Umelech ein b'Yisrael, there was no king in Israel. Vayehi ish levi, and it was that a man, Levi Gar. I think that Levi is according to no. Oh, no, here it's a Levite man, a man of Levi. Oh, no, here I'll just read. So a Levite residing at the other end of the hill country of Ephraim took to himself a concubine from Bethlehem in Judah. Once his concubine deserted him, leaving him for his father's house in Bethlehem in Judah, and she stayed there a full 4 months. Okay, wait. Okay, so here it's from Judges. Sorry, I have to go back to before. Where it says everyone did what was, sorry about this. Okay, sheets maybe. Okay, here. Everyone did what was right in their own. Dang it. Sorry. Everyone.
No worries.
Okay, here. So everyone did what was, Okay, here. Judges 21-25. B'yamim hahem ein melech b'Yisrael. In those days there was no king in Israel. Ish hayashar be'enav ya'aseh. A man, man did what was righteous in his eyes, or everyone did as he pleased. So
Now those are two very different things, and I'm going with pleased being a very key translation, because that idea of happy and pleasure, and is the being able to choose as you please, is part of that whole right and wrong. That's a choosing what you please is different than choosing what is right.
So, but that's the problem. You're reading the translation where it says pleased. In Hebrew, it just says ish hayashar. So ish hayashar, or like a man was righteous be'enav, in his eyes, ya'aseh, and so he did. So it's this idea that men did what was righteous in their own eyes. They did what was right in their own eyes. Because this word hayashar is the righteous, or like what is correct.
Right, and that's exactly the concept I'm saying. It's like each person can vary their own perspective of right and wrong morality away from what God wants, and thereby it's what they please. It's like, it pleases me that it's right to steal from people and not have any consequences.
Though it is interesting because you bring up this idea. So when are we to understand that there was no king in Israel and everyone did what was right in their eyes? This is back before you have the centralized authority. This is basically referring that people, this is when people, worshipped other gods, and they weren't persecuted for it. I mean, the annual feast of the Lord is this is just there's something really interesting in here. But anyway, to go back to the video.
Again, my take on what they're trying to express is what happened was you had the tribes unified when they entered the land of Israel. And without the central authority of Moses and Joshua, they basically, each of the tribes developed their own individual sense of right and wrong. And each tribe developed their own sort of individual perspective away from the central one, which it started on. And that's what they're trying to talk about, is that all started varying, and they were all varying away from God, hence the need to go back to a centralized one. I don't know if is that making sense to you, Ariel?
Yeah. All right, so here. So now she's going to dip it in the fire.
Honor that Shabbat has officially now come to a close. Once you dip the candle in the wine, we sing Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi.
Elijah the
We
prophet.
sing to Elijah the prophet, Eliyahu Hanavi, knowing that he will not only tell us that the Shabbat has ended, but more importantly, that he will be the one who tells us when the Shabbat of all Shabbats has arrived.
So,
that sounds a reference to Elijah being the coming again in order as John the Baptist, and announcement of the Messiah sort of concept.
So it's actually interesting because within, there is the concept of reincarnation within Judaism. The only problem is that Elijah can't really, it gets tricky when someone gets claimed as a reincarnation of Elijah because of the fact that Elijah isn't dead. I mean, because I'm 100%.
Elijah's up in heaven. It's like it's him and Enoch and Jesus and Mary, if you go that route, I guess.
But yeah, just this idea of being taken up in the flaming chariot.
And one of those general rules is that I tend to apply is anybody claiming to be Elijah pretty much has disqualified themselves.
Hey, I'm Elijah. I'm joking. Not serious.
Well, except King Ariel the other night. You know, it's that I enjoyed that.
That was funny. So anyway, let's get into Shin.
Shin are very symmetrical. And it's considered one of the most symmetrical of all of the letters. It consists of a number of vavs and yuds. The flames are the letter vav. The top of the vav have a yud, and they all meet at a base, which is a yud. So altogether, there are 4 yuds and 3 vavs, making up the shin. 7 components, which allude to the 4 mothers and the 3 fathers. And this is seen very beautifully in the tefillin. On one side of the tefillin is a regular shin of 3 lines. And on the other side is a mysterious shin of 4 flames that we really don't see in the Hebrew alphabet. But these 7 flames represent the patriarchs and the matriarchs. When you take these 4 yuds and 3 vavs, they equal together 58, which is the word chen, grace.
Wait, so
And in Kabbalah,
so is he trying to say, so yud, yud, yud? Wait, so he says 4 yuds and 3 vavs. So you have 1, 2, 3 vavs maybe, and then you have. It just doesn't make sense. So this is 1, 2.
There's 4. There's 4 of the squares with lines. You got the 3 on the top that are coming out of the 1. That's 4 of those, and then you have 2 of those. He must be saying that small little line is what, a yod?
Wait.
In the middle one.
This one?
The little line in the middle one. You got the that one.
Well, no, because so here you have a yod, you have a yod, you have a yod. You need 1 more yod. And it wouldn't be this.
Is the one on the left? The one on the left, is that a yod? Because
yeah.
Okay, because it looks different than the others. Because it looks the same as the I was counting that as the 4 and the 3. The 4 is on the left.
Wait, 4 is on the left? What do you mean?
Well, you have the squares with the lines. Squares with lines versus the swirls. You have 4 squares with lines, then you have the 2 swirls with the thing on the with the big fat one on the bottom, and then you have the little liney on the top. And I was figuring if you're going 4 and 3, they figured that's 4 on the left and then the 3 on the right.
So maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3.
Right. Little line, big line, bigger line with the big base. I don't know. That's just that's me trying to make sense of it.
Hebrew alphabet. But these 7 flames represent the patriarchs and the matriarchs.
He's definitely hitting your
Shekinah there. You take these 4 yuds and 3 vavs, they equal together 58, which is the word chen, grace. And in Kabbalah, the concept of symmetry is represented by this word grace. When something finds grace in our eyes, it means we're in tune with it. Everything is in the right place and feels good, and we can relate to it. That is what grace is. So there's a level of finding grace in other people's eyes, and there's a level of finding grace in God's eyes. The first time the word chen appears in the Torah is when Noach found grace in God's eyes. So, Noach matzah chen be'enei Hashem. And it's pointed out that the word for Noach and chen are the same letters, just reversed. They're in symmetrical form. Noach found grace in God's eyes. The root shin appears in many words. Shin is the root of shena, which is sleep, and also sha'anan, which means serenity. So there's a feeling of calmness.
Not only that,
On the other hand,
so shin literally means, so it's sheen. So sheen, so one tooth is a sheen, teeth is shinim, and when you're talking about like two teeths, so not two teeth, but two teeths, so your teeths up here and your teeths down here, it's shinayim. So essentially it's a dual of teeth. So it's on, you're basically saying two teeth, or, well, but see, this is the thing. It's not two teeth because that would literally be only two, two tooths, essentially. So two teeth is actually two teeths, if that makes any sense.
It's sounding like it's kind of hitting set theory. It's like each tooth is a set in itself, and then you have the set of teeth on the top and set of teeth on the bottom.
Yeah. So it's referring to the two sets.
Yep.
And shin is the root of shana, which means year, which means constant cycle and change. And the word for change itself, shinui, comes from the root shin.
So this is also interesting because so the root shana, it means like, so mishneh, it means to repeat. So it's basically, it's this idea of repetition, or shnei, a second time. A second time is repetition. So the ideas are connected, and it's all connected to shin. Shnei, wait, what was I saying? So that you have shnei, the second, and shana, which is a repetition. It's basically this idea of repeating and revolving.
Here we have a paradoxical idea that sleep and serenity represents, we'll call it non-movement, and year and change, of course, is change. And as we saw in other letters, sometimes a root or a letter will encompass both opposite ideas. There's a verse that says, Ani Hashem lo shaniti. I am God, I have not changed. The word change, shaniti, is based on the letter shin.
Ooh.
So we see a beautiful idea.
Also this double meaning, shaniti. I have not changed, but I also am not the second, or I have no second. Like saying there is no one like God.
Again, now you're back to the uncreated creator,
Yeah.
all of those sorts of antinomic aspects.
Yeah.
The idea here is God is unmovable, is permanent, and yet all change only comes through God's activity, God's agency. So I am God, I have not changed, really means God is the immovable force that moves everything. And this is the idea of the shin, which is fire. When you see a fire, it's always dancing, it's always moving, it's dynamic. And we are drawn to fire. We're drawn to the flame of a candle because there's a certain grace there. There's a certain serenity of sitting at a campfire and getting lost in the flames. The numerical value of shin equals 300. When you take the name Elokim, which is the name of judgment, and you spell out the letters that make up the word, their full spelling. For example, the Aleph is Aleph Lamed Pei, etc. All of those letters equal 300. Elokim is Gematria equal 300, etc. Is Aleph Lamed Pei, etc. All of those letters equal 300. Elokim is Gematria 87, which equals Hateva, nature. So we see a beautiful connection that the fire of the Shin is the power and we'll call it the electromagnetic force within nature. Another beautiful example of we'll call it the electromagnetic force within nature. Another beautiful example of the change and non-change as represented by the Shin, we find in the mezuzah. The mezuzah is hung on the door of every Jewish home, every room, in fact, in the house, but especially the front door when we go in and we come out. And on it is the letter Shin. Now, the word mezuzah comes from the word zaz, which means to move. So therefore, when we go in and out of a house, many people kiss the mezuzah in order to represent our desire for God to protect us when we go out and we come in. Yet paradoxically, when we put up a mezuzah, the blessing that we say is likvoa mezuzah, to put the mezuzah in a permanent, unmovable place. So in many of the letters, we have seen this idea of run and return. And we see this in the shape of the Shin, and we see it in fire itself. Fire is always moving. It's running and returning.
But it's tied to
a meditation that can connect us to the letter Shin is to connect to our inner fire, to connect to the fire of the soul that wants to express itself, wants to be close to other people, and wants to be close to God.
So I'm
Yeah,
thinking
no.
now. Yeah,
Go. When he was talking about getting lost in the fire, that's basically meditative fire jhanas sort of stuff.
Fighter what? Or
fire jhanas is meditative practices of when you get lost into fire and in meditative practice.
Oh,
it's when you. Go ahead.
I was just saying I've only ever heard it called fire gazing, but I mean it's basically the same thing.
Well, actually, it's one of a whole sequence that you can go through in meditative practices. You can go through earth, air, water, fire. A whole sequence of them. Work your way through and practice.
So I just need to use the restroom real quick, and then we'll start the Sefer Yetzirah, and then we'll do however much you feel up to, and then we can continue another night.
Absolutely.
Let's see. So let me just find. What was I going to put up? Oh, right. I think this is going to be my trademark thing. I just need to find one that's long enough.
Imagine what...
All right. Yeah,
I
think
had
this is-
I had an
Yeah.
observation and a question there.
yeah.
The question first is, what was the black cord that the guy in the white outfit was holding on to?
I don't actually know that. That this tradition is way beyond any of my knowledge.
Okay. The observation was that the dance is not just the people on the floor doing it. It's a whole community. And I noticed that the people in the stands, they needed to keep the polarity. You had different rows going in different directions, and then you had the guys on the very top jumping up and down. So it was an interesting, like I said, a whole community participation event, as opposed to what happens too often, which is just a bunch of people in the center dancing and then everybody else just watching them.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's also weird how like you can see the rows and it almost looks like they're going against each other, or like like back and forth. Like
that's
one
what I
goes
was talking about. Yeah, the polarity. It's like one will go one way and the other will go the opposite to keep the polarity going, with the ones at the top going up and down, almost like sending it to heaven. If I had to guess, that's intentional. That's part of the whole plan.
Yeah, it's also interesting that there's only one guy that's wearing white.
It's usually how these sorts of ceremonies work. Is you have the whole community participating with one as the focus. This is the, all focused on the one sort of
Also,
concept.
I don't know if you see that sign or that banner, but it says Tov. I mean, it says good. I wonder what the other one says. Like if it's symmetrical, if there's like Tov on both, or if one's Tov. I doubt that one. They wouldn't write Ra, but I wonder what they would write. Here, I'm going to skip forward. That way we can just see.
If I had to guess, Mazel Tov.
Yeah, it's funny because people think of it in such like a secular way. It's like, oh, congratulations, Mazel Tov. But no, it literally means like, may you have a good constellation. Here, let's see. I'm going to speed up. Oh, this is so funny when you watch it faster. It's like watching one of those, old silent movies.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the funny thing is that's how Alvin and the Chipmunks got started. Was they played an LP album on a 45 speed, and it produced that chipmunk sound. So they ran with it.
Oh, shoot, yeah, I've been forgetting to pay attention to see if we can see anything on the right. So it'll be next time he cycles. Mazel, you're right! Oh my god, you're so smart! I mean, like, I guess it's intuitive, but also this is interesting to see how it almost looks like there's like a middle, I wonder who's sitting up there.
Again, a lot of this, it reminds me of, I have, friends in the Coptic church, and they're very into ceremony and participation in community and that sort of sense, too.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll bet you probably he's dancing with the leaders from the different communities.
If I had to guess, it might be like a retirement celebration.
Here, let's actually. Now it looks like you almost have this mirroring stuff because they're both wearing the same hats, but they're dressed in different.
Yeah, you definitely have the duality going. No, I find it always interesting to analyze rituals that way. It's like with the churches. You always try to invoke all of the senses, sight, sound, smell, hearing, taste.
All right, so in the meantime, so I'm going to find, what was it? Okay, let's see, what was it we were looking for? Oh, yeah, so Sefer Yetzirah, Chapter 2. It's not too long, so, we could go however long you feel. So,
Yeah.
let me just put some music on anytime. Let's see. Yeah, I got some new music that hopefully none of this is copyrighted. If it is, then I'll just have to bleep it out because I purposefully did a good job of not using any outside music that I didn't download that I haven't checked is out of copyright. Let's see. So we're about to read Sefer Yetzirah. So what's good for this? Oh yeah. This is just a good vibe. Or actually here, Baruch El Elyon. Blessed is the highest or like most high God.
Volume down a little bit for me.
Is that good?
Just a hair lower. Perfect.
Right. Let's see. Yetzirah. Let's see. So chapter 2 here. I'm going to turn more. All right. So Esrim Mushtaim Otiyot Yesod Shalosh Amot Sheva Kefulot. So you have 22 letters founded, or the foundations rather are 22 letters. 3 mothers, Shalosh Amot, Sheva Kefulot, 7 doubles. Vishtem Eser, Shtem Asra Peshutot. So, and that's in 12 commons. So one of the things that, and we might, I'm not going to say it because they'll probably get into it. So the 3 mothers, let's see. So Shalosh Amot, the 3 mothers, Aleph, Mem, and Shin. So Aleph, Yesodon, Kach, Zachut. Wait, is this saying? Okay. No, they're like a pair. Or let's see. Oh wait. 3 mothers, namely Aleph. Oh, Kach Zahut, like the identity. The Kach Chovev Balashon. This is like not translating all of it or something. Let's see. Yisodon Kach Zahut. The Kach Chovat. And the tongue. Yeah, I'm just going to read here what it says. 3 mothers, namely Aleph, Mem, and Shin, represent air, water. Oh, it's just giving extra context. So, yeah, represent air, water, and fire. Aleph, mute is water. Oh. Yeah, there's definitely added stuff that's not originally in the Hebrew. Either that or this must not be the full text. Actually, here, let me see if I can find Sefer Yetzirah.
So a lot of that was what we were getting out of the videos before about water and fire and air to separate the two, being the medium through which the two act. And we're just as a point of comparative spirituality, you're not too far from the Norse concept of the fire and ice with the gap in the middle.
Oh, interesting. So it's like the ice is like the water?
Right. Which, being up north, you can understand why they would go with ice instead of just regular water.
I'm trying to see if I can find another. let's see. Is this let's see. Yeah,
And
here
I was going to say that Aleph, Mem, and Shin seems to relate to what we were looking at in the Zohar with that the cycling that we were talking about with the first three Sephirah.
wait, what cycling?
We were talking about me and Ma.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Mima and Ela.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So 3 mothers, namely Aleph, Mem, Shit, and Shin, represent air, water, and fire. Aleph. Wait. Here, let me change the music to something that doesn't have any words. That way we can just let's see. Or wait, is that? Oh, I know the perfect thing. Here, it was actually yeah. Wait, where was it? Sorry, one moment. Okay, here it is. Sorry. All right. So 3 mothers, namely Aleph, Mem, and Shin, represent air, water, and fire. Aleph, mute as water. That's interesting. So here it's like Aleph is mute as water, even though Aleph is connected with air. Okay, this must be a mistranslation. So here it says Aleph mute as water. It should be air, Shin hissing as fire, and Mem as an air of a spiritual type. Either that or it should be, I'm trying to think. Wait. Yeah.
Where I'm getting that they're going with it is Aleph is the primordial waters. And that's where they're getting that water sort of from. And that was silent until let there be light. And that would be the Shin of the hissing fire. And Mem is, again, this is a primordial air, not the regular type of air. That's why they're saying air is the spiritual type as a balance between the two. And basically where that Mem, it's the air of the spiritual type, is where the creation actually ends up happening between the water and the fire. Or at least that's the sort of feel I'm getting from it.
Interesting.
How's that work? What are you tracking, Ariel?
I don't know. I feel like we just need to read more to kind of pick it apart.
Okay.
So the prop. Okay, let's see. Wait. So Aleph Mem Shin Yesodon Kach Zahu. Yeah, I'm just trying to understand where Velashon Chok, the Chok is like something prescribed, enacted, or decreed. Beitanim. In the meanwhile, anyway, so Aleph mute as water, Shin hissing as fire, and Mem as a air of a spiritual type is as balanced. It's weird how it has water and then fire and then air, even though the order. I mean, so it's like here it has Aleph, Mem. No. So it has. Wait, where is it? Wait. So Shin. Oh, okay. Aleph is water. So here you have water first, then fire, then air, but it's actually air, water, fire. So air, water, fire, and here it's water, fire, air. I don't know. It's an interesting way of saying.
And like I said, for me, it's because they're tracking it with Genesis, where it starts out with the waters of creation, and that was silent, and then let there be light and the fire of the light, and then you're going to end up with air as the gap in between the two, where all of creation happens.
Interesting. So so spiritual type is as balance, standing erect between them and pointing at the equilibrium which exists speaking. So so it's basically saying to point out the equilibrium between fire and water. Or wait,
In
no.
order to keep them, the balance between the two, to keep them separate so they don't extinguish each other. Basically, matter antimatter balance, and we end up with that might be a good way of looking at it, like a matter antimatter, and the air, the spiritual air, is what's left over as creation.
I think I got it. So because it starts Aleph Mem Shin, they have to explain why the one in the middle has to be air, even though the one in the middle is actually water, because otherwise you have air, water, fire. And so it's almost like you have the order of creation. It's probably like air was created first, then water, then fire, in order that air could be the one that separated them. But then that also has it be where it gets represented within this context of the middle one, in the sense of separating the two other elements. Even though Aleph is associated with air, it has to take on the property of water for the sake of... The only thing I don't understand is why it doesn't have Aleph. Well, yeah, because Aleph has to be silent and water can be silent, and then fire isn't silent. Well, I mean, fire can be silent too. So, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting how they choose to word it. But anyway.
I'm going back with this, that they're tying it into that let there be light, the speaking into creation. And I'm picking up again that whole Hegelian thesis, antithesis, synthesis, with air being the synthesis.
Oh, okay. I figured out what it was. So let's see, where are we? So wait, where even are... Oh, have we just only been on the... Okay, so here's what I think I figured out. So it's let's see, where is it? Shalosh Amoy Yesodon. The three mothers, Aleph, Mem, and Shin, were formed like the I don't know. Actually, I really don't know. I'm not going to try that. But here I'm starting to see stuff I can. So he hath formed, weighed, transmuted, composed. So here, Esri Mushtaim Chakakan. So Chakakan, he was this formed, or Chakak, I think it means like to cut off, or maybe to, I'm not sure. Chatzav is to hew. Shakal is to weigh. Hamiran, I don't know what that is. But then Saraf is to transmute, or like to smolt. Vitzar, and I don't know, is Vitzar Bahem, created in them Nefesh Kol Hayetzur V'Nefesh Kol Ha'atid Latzur. So it let's see, what is this? V'Hameran. Yeah, I don't know this, but so with 22 letters, he formed, weighed, transmuted, composed, and created Bahem, in them, or with these 22 letters. Nefesh Kol, all souls, maybe. Every living being. Kol Nefesh. Yeah.
I was going to say, an important thing here is you have 5 different functions that's happening on the 22 letters. You have the forming, the weighing, the transmuting, the composing, and the creating. And I don't know exactly what words are associated with that one, but it's clear that they're definitely indicating those are 5 different functional operations that can happen on those 22 letters.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, that's really smart. So you have A, E, I.
It's the vowels.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's the vowels. Yeah, those are the operations that are so. Good catch there, Ariel.
So let's see. So A, E, I, O. Wait. Let me think. So here, I can actually look this up. So, oh shoot, what did I just do?
So it would hold true if the vowels would be then associated in some way with forming, weighing, transmuting, composing, and creating. If we could have correspondence between the vowels and those, you have a really, really strong case.
So check this out. So here, so you have different forms of this. So you have the kamet, so a, you have the tzere e, you have the chirik e, you have the cholem o, and you have the u. Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have a 6th, which is silent.
Sweet. I think we definitely hit on something.
Interesting. Oh, okay. We've got some comments. Oh, cool. Kara's here. Morning and sounds good. Water, fire, air. If you want to join, I'll post an invite link in, because really doesn't matter any foreknowledge, because we're pulling stuff out. We have no idea what's here. We're just reading it.
Yeah. I tend to think of it as doing Kabbalistic explorations more than anything else. I'd love to have Kara jump on.
Yeah, so here's the link. Just, well, I mean, there's no one else in the comments, so it's not going to get lost. But anyway, so let's see. Where was the text? It was, oh, here. Sure, it's done. So let's see. So, well, here's the different forms that you have of something. So it's so here, let's just take let's see, shakal. Does it, or we need to find a word where it will have the let's see. Okay, yesod. So institution. So here, let's see. So as it's going to have it based on different verb types. So oh shoot, maybe it doesn't. Shoot. Oh, that's right, because I need to find one where it uses, let's see, chova, no, lashon, avot, noldo, maybe, no, nolet. So yalad, so to bear forth. So here you can see, are you able to see this all right? On the right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to see if there's a way I can like make it bigger or something. Oh yeah, here, this will work. Wait, how do I? All right, where's the?
That's good enough to see.
All right. So here you have. So as call, it means to. Okay, yeah, this is not. Oh shoot! Dang it. See, we're on chapter 2. I'm just going to look for a paradigm chart. So let's see. What am I looking for? What's it called? Let's see. Bin Yanim chart Hebrew. Right here. Let's see if this does a good job. Okay, here. This should be good. Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so pa'al, or let's see, so it's wait, I'm trying to think. Call pa'al. Oh shoot, 1 second. I need to find the tab again. Oh, right, that's what I was looking for. So you have call. So does it have that here? It should.
That just looks more like verb conjugation. That's not really, I think, what we're looking for.
No, because it, so it is. So basically,
okay.
So pa'al. Okay, so here it gives the example with wrote. So the root is katav. So katav pa'al. It's a simple action. It means he wrote or wrote. So whoever the actor is wrote. So nichtav. This is nifal. it means it happened to it. So it was written. So if you say he nechtav, it was written, or she was written. I mean, depends on the context. But so then with PL, intensive action. So rather than it, so it's more intense, or like it has more depth than just writing. It's like, well, in this case, kitev.
No, that's not what I'm quite the sense I'm getting. I'm getting intensive as being sort of internal, as opposed to causative. Intensive means sort of on itself, and causative means doing to something else.
I mean, the thing is, you have to look at the way it's interpreted, or like the way, because keep in mind it's taking meanings that are so like,
yeah, no, I'm just doing in the most abstractor. One of the things I'm curious on, is there any causative reflexive? Because there seems to be a category that should exist but doesn't there. Because you got simple active, simple passive, intensive active, intensive passive, causative active, causative passive, and then you have intensive reflexive. And It seems like you should have a
So is this what you're talking about? So you have Pa'al, which is active, and Nifal is passive, Kifil active, and Pu'al passive. So basically, so it's like, so here it says, Hu Katav, he wrote, Hu Zala, or here it's changing the root that you're using, but basically what I'm, let's see. Here, maybe this is a better one. Okay, here. Let's see. Is this what you're talking about? So you have active, passive, and reflexive.
Right, and then you had intensive and causative. And it seemed like there should, and that should make, it seemed like it was missing and then you had a reflexive. An intensive reflexive, it didn't seem like you had anything else with reflexive. And I was curious why you didn't have, say, a causal reflexive.
Oh, so like
I'm not even sure what a causal reflexive might be. I just noticed that it's not mentioned.
Well, so here's what's interesting. So even though you have, so here, look at this. So you have 7 major common binyanim, but they each have a range of uses. So kal is action or state. Nifal is passive, reflexive, reciprocal. PL, acting strongly, factive or resultive, urging others, doing an action related to a noun. Hefil is causing, doing, being, or declaring. And then hitpile is doing to, for oneself, doing together, reciprocally, doing repetitively or continually, acting or pretending. I think you can also use in
those are 5.
Yeah.
There are only 5 listed there. That could correspond to the 5 that we're looking for. So how does that correspond with like weighing and causing? Let me take a look at this. Action.
Let's see. So you probably have to look at it in a very like metaphorical sense, but if you look at it, so here you have, so these worms, so formed, weighed. So in one, formed, created, you could maybe view that as, so no, so formed, and you also have created. So created.
Formed is putting on an outside shape. Weighed is sort of sitting there and taking stock of it. Composed, I see, as arranging. Transmuted is a transition from one state to another. And created is bringing into being. How does that compare to the verbs?
Wait, you mean like you said bringing into being, you said?
Yeah, that's created. I was just trying to sort of translate those into something that might be functional with the words we were looking at before for the verbs.
Okay, this might help. So I was looking into commentary on this. So Ravad, I don't know who he is, but So
He's probably a rabbi.
I'm guessing that. But so Esrim Shtayim Otiyot Yesod. So the 22 letters are the foundation. Pirush Hem. The explanation is that they are the foundation. Vishoresh and the root. Lekol Hanim Saot. I don't know what Nim Saot is. Here, I'm gonna have to open this and then Nim Saot. Matzah. The and for all that maybe explanations or like Nim Saot explanations, maybe findings. I'm not sure, but anyway. So here,
no, the more we're hitting on this, the more it's almost like the 22 letters being the root, and since they didn't start out with the diacriticals, those would be the verbs would be the 5 that would be added on there, and it would correspond with what you were talking about there with those 5 things. I'm pretty sure we can come up with a correspondence with formed, waves, transmuted, composed, created with the 5 verb things we were looking at earlier.
Okay, let's see. So the first one you have Chakikan Be'avir. So let's see, Chakikan Chakak. I'm going to pull this up on my phone real quick because I can do that much easier. So BDB online. So that's Chakak. Chakak. And I feel like a chicken. Chakak. Chakak. Let's see. So Chakak. It is wait, where would it be? Kof. Oh, there's a lot of charaz. Okay, Chakak. So Chakak means to fix or to set in place. And the funny thing is, oh no, I'm wrong. To cut in or carve. So is carve one of the words that has way transmuted, composed, and created? So no. So he carved.
No, that would be, I was going to say, actually formed. Form fits into carved is the sense that I was doing. It's an external shaping.
Oh, I see what you mean. So Chakakan Be'avir, he formed or he shaped. Oh wait. So it's to cut in, inscribe, or decree. And so this is Aramaic. Chaka, be just, right, or obligatory. Also to make or decide to be just. Justness, truth. Maybe it's this context of like cutting off the unnecessary stuff or the bad. I don't know.
No, I'm writing these down, and let's go back to that screen we saw before, because I think we can crack this.
All right. So Chakakan Be'avir. So with wind or with air. Ube'maim and in water. Ube'esh and in fire. Kamo shebe'erti la'il. So it's saying that basically that he formed Chakakan formed in air and in water and in fire like shebe'erti ba'ar la'il. So il, it says, so la'il or elah, so the heights. So the creator, like the creator of the world, maybe sheberel olam. Because you have, I don't know, but
go back to that page that you had with the colors on it with the 5 different vowel things for.
Let's see. I need to find that now. Here. Is it here? No, it must be a different.
No. That was the
here.
That one. Okay.
Let's see. I need to move it closer to here. All right. So let's see. So I mean, I think that we're not going to find much until we read into it more. So maybe read a bit more.
Let me just take a look at this for a sec to try to see if I can get a quick. Let's see. I'm just gonna. Do those words have specific meaning? Qual, nifal, or any of those, or is that?
I honestly, I think it's more so just the shape, or like a heat palel. So it's going to be like it's not, so palel basically means a verb. So it's like heat nafesh, or heat sachek. Like, so you see what I mean? It keeps the form of heat palel, even though it's almost like, imagine it's like a shell that different words or different roots can take root inside, like little hermit crabs.
Almost done here.
No worries. I'm just translating the next part because it's a bit easier, I think. Actually, I'm going to look up what the Sheberoti is. Beroti Lail. Let's see. What's this say? Okay, let's see. What's this?
Okay, I'm good to go.
I know. I'm just trying to find what this is. Yeah, whatever. I can find it another time. So, let's see. So here. So chatzvan. So chatzav. I'm gonna have to look it up also. Oh wait, nice. It's with the same. So I just have to find the chatzah now. So chatzav. Chatzav. Chatzav is to hew or hew out, cleave. So, yeah, you don't see it here. To hew, it means like to divide almost, you know? So chatzvan, pirush, so the explanation, distinct expression or directness, pirush, same. Oh, the same is, it's the same as hafrid. Okay, so hafrid, the separation, or wait, parad, part. It's also, yeah, to separate. So hafrid, to separation. So it is like the separation of chalki, the parts. The parts are lots. Kol ot, of all the letters. The ot ad, and the letters still, shena shalma, fulfill, maybe, surat, the form or fashion, kol ot, of the letters, the ot, and the letters shall kav. I don't know what this is referring to. Maybe.
Let's just keep rolling.
Okay. Otot hen be'avir, they're in air. Hen b'mayim, they're in water, and hen be'esh, they're in fire. V'chakekan, let's see, so is that the next one? No, and chakekan be'tehom, and what's this? What did we say chakekan was again? It was the first one. Formed, was it, or
formed is the first one they say there.
So what did I say?
I see it as sort of as an external. I saw that it's sort of carved.
Oh, right.
Looking at that.
Right. So carved. So here it's saying and chakakan, and the carving betehom, in the deep. Shena Amar is like this, or is said bechaku, like the circle, hug. Oh, the circle of, I don't know what hug is. The setting or the fixing of the circle al pnei tehom, upon the face of the deep, and forming or carving Bishamayim, in the heavens, Shena Amar, as is set, that is said, Hayadat, the knowledge, chokot, the knowledge of chokot. What would this be? Of forming or carving, shamaim, of the forming or carving of the skies, v'chakikan, and the forming of the earth, or in the earth, shana amar, that is said, bechaku mostei aretz, in the maybe the circles, or wait, was this bechaku I don't know, mostei aretz is the foundations of the earth. V'chetzvan b'kol echad. I mean, so it's not really helping us more at this point. So we know what it is now. So it's this idea that it's what is this one? Chetzvan.
What I did pick up from what he was saying, that he was kind of echoing my sense of that why the water why Aleph starts with water, with that waters of the deep.
Oh, because of Tehom.
From what you were saying, I don't know the specific word. From what you were saying, that was the sense that he was echoing what I was saying.
Oh, here it says Shinamar bechoku. Oh, okay, wait. V'chetzvan bechol echad, and forming in all unity, or in all one from me'amsh, from the three mothers, otiot hakadosh, the three holy letters, shebehem, that are in be'esh, in fire, shenet, that is said, kol, the voice of God, chotzev, what's this? Hewed out, lehavot, lehava is a flame, or yeah, created or wait, how are we translating this again? Chotzev, like formed the flames.
Carved.
Oh, interesting. Here it's saying cleave. Like to cleave or hew out.
Okay.
So cleaved out, the lehava, the flames, the lehavot ish, and in water, ne'emar, it said, the voice of God, al hamaim, is upon the waters, and in air, it is said, the voice of God is yecholal, yechalal. What's this? And then let's see. B'mayim.
It's on further. It definitely looks like they're going with it.
Oh.
It's echoing the sounds. The next section, it makes it pretty clear it echoes sounds. Talking about the different ways you make sounds. To the next section, Ariel.
Oh, I will. I just want to
down.
finish. I will in a second. Okay. So here's the voice of God in the air. It is said, Yecholal, world danced or writhed, elots, in like power or strength, or maybe trees, maybe world trees. Pirush, the explanation, or the same is milashon, from the tongue, chalalu, that pierces, shel olam, the tongue that pierces eternity. Wow, this is interesting. The ayin, what's this from? The ayin b'sefer, maybe the eye in the book. The eye in the book of Bahir, Sefer Bahir, Pirush is the same Mizmor Zeh as this song or psalm here. So the next one, so Sheklan, so Shakal is to weigh. So Pirush Echad, it's the same as one Shenetahu, I don't know, is it that one of the something Haotiot, Sadran, ordered letters, bimada, I don't know. Anyway, we know what weighing is. We could always read this another time. I just want to at least get through it. So Hamiran. So
yeah.
Let's see. So Hamar. This is going to be an interesting one. So I think it must be connected to Hamor. Let's see. So Hamar. Hamar is, where is this? Hamar is to pour. Oh, that's why I think hammer is one of the Arabic words for wine. So mehamura is a flood or a watery pit. Interesting. So this, it seems like it's interesting. This is actually, it must be, it's a word that's has a cognate in Arabic. It seems like that must be where it's from. So so let's see, transmuted, composed. So poured out, right? That's what this would be. To pour or pour out. Hamiran. That's what this says. Unless I'm
And that would make sense of, because transmutation does have a sense of working through the waters.
Oh, I see what you mean. And so it's kind of like how the other one, like other ones are maybe connected to fire, and this one's definitely connected to water. So
right,
so,
this one's a water function, and it's like the first one, the carving, is a cleaving. It's a separation, and water doesn't separate. It's more of a merging sort of thing.
So here we have, so Hamiran Zeshehi, this is as it, this is as the Rosh Lehiyot Sof, the head to be the end. So like the head being the end, or to be the end. Bisod, in the secret. Hagalgul, in the secret of Galgul. I think the secret of the cycle, maybe, or the secret. This might be connection to reincarnation, possibly. Beruach ki,
or the cycling that we were talking about earlier in creation.
Oh, okay, yeah. Besod hagalgul baruach, the cycling in the soul or the spirit. Beruach ki el, because el makom asher, because to the place asher that yihye, that was shama, that was set, I think, or placed maybe. Haruach lalechet, the spirit goes. Yalchu lo yisavu, it goes and does not turn around. Belachat, it in its walking. V'hamiran, and poured out me from gariot. Let's see, that's gara. Let me just look this up real quick, because this could be really interesting. So gara is, let's see. Oh, wait, here I see. I just need to zoom in now. Interesting. So there's gar, garaf. Wait, ayin. Wait, samach ayin pei. So it should be before this. Okay, here I found it. Gara is to diminish, restrain. Wait, no, this is gar. So then where's this with it? Nigra. Oh, okay. So this is inheritance. Igara. Ledge, recess, rebatement. This withdraw, diminish, restrain. Okay. I am not 100% sure, but garuha. Yeah. So in this, it seems like it's saying diminish, restrain, or withdraw. So pouring out from withdrawing, le alui, from maybe the heights or the top, me alui, from the top, le gariot, withdraw, miyamin, from the right, le smola, to the left, u mismol, le yamin, and from the left to the right. Mem Allah, from upon high, lem mata, to down low.
Are we on transmuted or composed?
Pouring.
Oh, we're still on, okay, that's the okay, yeah, that's transmuted in the English here.
Umelamata lema'ala. So lamata is down and lema'ala is up. So it's actually how you say upstairs and downstairs. So it's up and down, left and right, and what is this? Alav le ragia. Yeah. So this is interesting. So I'm
hearing a lot of hermeticism in there. As above, so below, to the right, to the left.
Definitely, and interesting. That's also how you shake the lulav. You shake it in front, or what was it? Right to the right and to the left, above and below, and in front and in back. And it's also mirrored in the whole idea of the cube, representing the six or the six
dimension. Yeah, the sixth. Yeah.
So let's see. So melipani. Wait, from to the face, or lipnim. Let's see, what is this? Pana. Yeah, from the faces. Le achor. Maybe wait. Mil panim. Oh, mil. I'm trying to think. This is so familiar to me. It's from the presence to the achor, to the backside. Oh, from the face. Okay, so maybe it's from to the face, or yeah, from the face to the ass. Interesting. Achor means both ass and hind part, so it means both. So from the top to the bottom, essentially. Umeha achor lepanim, and from the bottom to. So from the face to the ass to the face. The hamiran is poured out. Yafach. From the beauty el hafach. From the beauty hayafach. Oh, from your beauty. Do not turn from you. I might be getting this wrong, but anyway, so tsarfan, I don't even need to look this up. It means to smelt, basically. So tsaraf, it means to smelt or to forge. So pirush, bitsurat, the same is in the form. Kol min, all that, kol min umin bitsurato. So all from. This might be a kind. So this is the same as in the form of all the kind, and the kind in the form in its form. Ral. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but beotiot. So I don't know, but in the letters, and it is upirosho. In his sameness, chevron, maybe his friend or friendship. I'm not sure. So then here we get to, I think this is the last version of this. So it's what is it? Chetzvan, Sheklan, Vehamiran, Sarfan, Sarbahem. So Vitsarbahem. So and forming. I think Wait, I just need to get this. Wait, Sor. Form, I think this is to bind, wrap, tie, to confine in, narrow, compress, or enclose. So probably to form, right? Or so formed, way, transmuted, composed, and I would say probably bound, maybe.
For which one? For composed?
No, so tsar. The thing is, the translation is imperfect. We shouldn't be basing.
No, I figure they have 5 words there. I'm curious which word you were working on.
Oh yeah, so it's Vitzar Bahen, and
that corresponds to created. That what they're trying to say there, or composed. I'm
guessing it's saying so. Vitzar Bahen and bound Bahen in them. Kol Hayetzur, all the Yatzar, all the formations or all the inclinations. Interesting. So
okay, if that's what they're trying to say to compose, they're talking about putting it together from the internal component sort of thing. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So pirush, it's the same as madat, midat, the measure, madat hakol shehi kolalat. What's kolalat? I'm not sure. Kol hanesha nefashot. Kolalat. I don't know what it is, but and all the hanef all the souls, the chol ha nimtsaot, and all the findings, bitvun bitvanot notam. I think that's from Bina Tavan. It's and in understandings. Be'echotiottehem. Oh, echotiot. I don't know what that is. And power, chomer, weight or load, a common load, musachem, masach. I think it means to pour out, lechol shmita, upon all the ordinances, vishmitash. Yeah, I don't know what this is. So basically, we know. So this is. So you wrote down the different, like, what they mean, right? So we have. See, so this is. So chatzvan is to. Was it?
Yeah,
like
cleave or carve.
Yeah. Oh wait. So that no. So chakakan is to form, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to form, to hew or to carve, to weigh.
We hadn't really looked at much, but yeah, to transmute.
It transmutes.
That was to pour.
Yeah, but so to weigh, to pour, to transmute, and to form or to bind in them. So to set, like, basically it's this idea of like placing a spell in them, or like placing magic within them. So now
And then you have create. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's our so this is, let's see, Chakakan, Chatzvan, Shaklan, V'hamiran, Sarfan, Vitzar Bahem, Nefesh Kol. So formed in them all nefesh, all souls. Kol hayetzur, all the inclinations. V'nefesh kol ha'atid latzur, and the soul, and every soul in the future to be created, or to be latzur, to be formed. So it's basically saying all the souls and all the souls in the future.
So it's using created and formed twice, basically.
Keep in mind, this is so.
Just trying to get the sense, Ariel. That's all.
Well, no, I'm just reading the thing we already read before.
So, okay. So what were they using for created? That in the middle there.
In the middle. Let's see. Weighed, transmuted, composed, and created. Wait, formed, weighed, transmuted, composed, and created. Created, it would be the end. So they're saying. And I mean, I would tend to agree, because if you are binding, or you're
so do they have what word are they using for that in the Hebrew up there?
Tzor bahen, bind
Okay.
in them, or form in them.
Okay, so they're using it as, so that's different than the cleave form. Okay, I see what they're doing. So that's a real form, and the first form was kind of a bad translation.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's one of the reasons why I've yet to actually. Actually, let's see. Is that even an option here? Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, Safari lets you do your own translations, but I've yet to figure out how. So anyway, so we're on to 3 now. So 20. Let's see. So yeah, I'm just going to read it here. So 22 letters are formed by the voice. So Otiot Yesod. Oh, Chakokon Bakol. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is in that one song that. Here, I'm going to turn off the music because it's now starting to throw me off. I don't know why it was. But okay, so. Let's see. Esrim u'shtayim otiyot yesod chakokot bakol hatzavot baruach kavot. Kavot ba'peh ha'chemasha bekomot ahacha ba'bom fe. Wait, what's this? Oh, this is different lists of sign. What is it? Keshurot balashon. Okay, so she must be taking parts from different ones. Anyway, so here you go. So 22 letters are the foundation. They were formed, or chalkikon, they were, what was the first word we had?
First word we had was cleaved, carved.
Okay, so no, that's, I think that's a different one. I'm just going to look this up to be sure, because we might have gotten confused. So it's, see, chakak. Oh yeah, it's up here. So let's see. Chakak is to cut in, inscribe, or decree. So it's this idea of like a magical inscription almost. So So with the 22 foundational letters, Chakakon, inscribed in the voice or with the voice, Chatzovot Baruach. Okay, interesting. So so this is inscribed in the voice or with the voice, Chatzovot, carved Beruach, in the spirit or in the wind, Kevoot, Kava. This is, let's see. Kava is, well, at least it's up in the beginning. So kava is to rob. Wait, what? That can't be right.
No.
There must be a different context to it then. Kivot. Let's see. Perhaps rob. Those maybe it means like taken from. Kivavot bape, taken from the mouth or stolen from the mouth. Bechamisha mekomot. Okay, from in 5 mekomot, 5 places.
Yeah, that's what I was reading in the English down further. It's the different ways they make the sounds.
So here it says, so it's formed by the voice, impressed on the ear, or carved in the ear, and audibly uttered. Wait, what was that? Kivaot. Oh, it must be kava. Like it must be uttered from the palate. Let's see. In 5 situations, chamisha mekomot, 5 situations or 5 places. Let's see. Bishinaim, besfatayim, esrim ushtaim otiot shekashar beshalom. Wait. Okay. So it's so it would be
It's going from throat to palate to tongue to teeth to lips. From the basically, it's on its way out from the inside out.
Ben hashinaim ulashon. Okay, so here's how I remember, at least from that song. So it's hashinaim or bishinaim, through the teeth as dentals. Besfatayim, through the lips as labial sounds. Bishinaim besfatayim. So it's only those 2 parts I remember. So let's see. So bahech. Bishinaim besfatayim esrim ushtaim shekashar. Wait, hold on. Esrim ushtaim otiyot yesod hakokot bakol batzavot baruach Hashem nisham v'Hashem mekamot balashon. Bahech balashon. Bahech in the palate, balashon on the tongue. So the part I'm remembering is after that. So it's what was the part I'm missing here? So begaron, bahech balashon. So the garon is in the throat as guttural sounds. So bagaron, bahech, on the palate, balashon, by the tongue. Bishinaim, in the teeth as dentals. Basfatayim esrim ushtaim otiot shekashar beshalom. So the next part will be the 22. Esrim ushtaim otiot yesod hakovod begala. Anyway, so here. Okay, so anyway, so the next part is, unless you have any thoughts on this.
I shared my thoughts earlier, where they definitely are listing it from the inside out of the body. They're starting with, like I said, the throat all the way out to the lips.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even think about that. See, this is one of the reasons why I think it's so important. I mean, this is the type of thing where maybe you're studying this with another Jew, they would have realized that. But it's kind of like sometimes when you're looking at it from your inside perspective, you can't see the obvious. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100% agree. That's it. Like we were talking about, it's stereo vision a lot of times where, you have that blind spot that, you know so much, but there's that one thing that's like, you just haven't noticed yet. And it takes somebody who is coming from a totally different perspective to notice it. Somebody who's close to your perspective is likely to have a similar blind spot.
Definitely. But it also helps that we have similar perspectives, although it's like from different vantage points.
We can communicate well enough. We know we're talking about the same object.
Yeah. So here, so esrimu shtaim otiyot yesod kavoot ba galal beralo. What's ralo? So let's see. So these 22 letters, the foundations, kavavot bigalal, arranged on a sphere, or as on a sphere, kivoot. So, what was the thing up here? Kivoot bak. Wait, what was it? Let's see. Kivoot bape. So on the mouth. Where's the mouth here? Bape on the. Wait, formed by the voice. Let's see. Palate. Wait, sorry. So where is this? Bape. Okay. By the wind, impressed on the air and audibly uttered. Oh, so uttered. So kavod is uttered. So the uttered in a circle or in a sphere, in a cycle. Beralo with, okay, this is gematria. So ralo. So 230. Yeah, 230 and then the 1. So 231 esrim. Oh, she'arim, gates. 231 gates. So this is a reference to, so apparently there's some people, there's this tradition of rearranging Ralo into Ra'el. And so you put a yesh in front of that. Yesh Ralo, there is 231 gates. Yesh Ralo Sharim, you rearrange the Ralo and you get Yisrael or Yisrael. So the understanding is that it's a hidden reference that like Ralo or Ra'el, which, it's I don't know, it's interesting. But anyway, so the Choser, circular letters. So maybe circular gates. So 231 circular gates. Hagalgal, circular letter gates. I don't know. Hagalgal, panim. The rolling or the circling or spherical panim ve'achor. The face and the ass. So the top and the bottom. Vizehu siman, and this is a sign lidaber, to speak. Ein betova, to speak without goodness. Betova lema'ala. In goodness to lema'ala, to the ascents or to ascension. Me'anag, I don't know what that is. Ve'ein bera'a lemate. Bera'a lemata. So it's menagav. So here it says, he arranged as on a sphere with 231 modes. If the sphere be rotated forward, good is implied. Okay, let's see. So, vizehu siman lidaver ein betova. In without good, lema'ala. I must be. It means maybe going up and going down. So going forward or going backwards. Maybe it's like up is forward and down is backwards. Would that make sense?
It kind of does. This is one of those where there's definitely some meaning here that it's related to like math and like group theory and stuff. And I am way too exhausted to try to make sense of it right now. So what I'm going to say, Ariel, is why don't we just call it at this point? Because
we're almost
well,
done.
let's go through the end of it, but I don't want to really say too much, but I'd like to pick up where we left off here with the 22 relating to 231 modes, because there's some significance there, especially when they're talking about being arranged on a sphere.
Yeah, so I'll just read the English and not the Hebrew first part. So,
okay.
For he indeed showed the mode of combination of the letters, each with each, aleph with all, and all with aleph. So it's saying that aleph can be in combination with any letters, I'm guessing. Thus, in combining all together in pairs.
From a group theory standpoint, that sounds like each letter can be combined with, you can have the letter and aleph in the letter and aleph as basically as being each two of the modes, and each of the letters together. So it's like you got 22 times 22 plus 22 and 22 or something like that is what I'm kind of getting there. But keep going.
So, let's see. Thus, in combining all together in pairs are produced these 231 gates of knowledge. So that's why here choker uses the word circular letter, because it's a returning letter. I wonder what that means.
That's how you get an odd one, because everything they're talking about there is would produce an even number. So to have one repeating one, that would be the return and the Ouroboros sort of thing and the cycling that we've been talking about.
Interesting. So anyway,
So my guess is that might be me and ma sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's interesting that it says if the sphere be rotated forward, good is implied and retrograde is seen as evil. So here, what I find really interesting. So here it's saying, thus in combining all together in pairs are produced these 231 gates of knowledge, and from nothing. So here it seems like the combination of the letters. So it's saying like aleph. So you can combine aleph with every letter except for itself. So that'd be what, 21 combinations. So I wonder what let's see, so what's 21 times 21? So wait, maybe it would be like, well, because you have to reduce, yeah, you would have to account for every time you have a repeating one. But
yeah, I was going to say, let me work out the math on that one. You are on something with sort of like aleph is working like one in a prime number sense.
Yeah. So, and from nothing, Vibelima, did he make something? So
actually, nothingness, because that's significant to me, because I distinguish between nothing and nothingness.
Let's see where so nothingness. So let's see, Khalila. Where is this word? Billy Ma. It should be here somewhere. And from nothingness. Let's see. Oh, gates of knowledge. So where is Chochmah here? Namsa Hayatzur. Yeah, Oh, okay. So here, Aleph, Beyat. What's this? Im Kalam, the Kalam Im Beit, the Chozeret Chalilat. Yeah, I don't know the saying. Anyway, so and from nothingness did he make something, and all forms of speech, and created every created thing, and from the empty void he made the solid earth, and from the non-existent he brought forth life. Yeah, something seems up with this translation because I don't see chai anywhere here or nefesh. So something tells me there must be something up with this, but hopefully I'll get it fixed by the next time. So anyway, okay, yeah, now this is back on track. So he hewed Yetzar matahu mamash ase eno yeshno v'chatzav amudim gdolot. So this is forming metohu. Oh, interesting. Wait, Yetzir metohu mamash, as it were, immense columns or colossal pillars. So this word amudim, dolim, large pillars. So, but here it says metohu. It almost seems. Oh. I think that it must be from up here that's combining these two verses. But anyway, so what it says here though is formed metohu from tohu or from chaos, mamash, like many, or he created much from chaos. Ve'esa eno yeshno, and what's it, eno? And made signs. Yeshno, Yashan. Oh, created signs that are, or I don't know, and hewed great pillars from air. She'eno nitpas, that cannot be perceived. So here it says intangible air, but literally that cannot be perceived. So it's this idea of like air that is not the air we are familiar with. Vizeh siman, and this is a sign. Sofa, to watch, umemeir, from the light, maybe, And from mir, I don't know, ose kol hitzur, create all forms, ve'et kol hadvarim, and all things, sham echad, there one, create all things there, maybe created all things there, one, I don't know, echad v'siman, so one and a sign, lidaver, to speak, esrim ushtayim, minaim, or types, chafetzim, maybe kinds of enjoyment, beguf echad, in a single body. And here it just says he hewed, as it were, immense columns or colossal pillars out of the intangible air and from the empty space. And this is the impress of the whole, 21 letters, all from the Aleph. So this is a good place to end off. So, Grim, you there? Graham? Graham? I'm going to guess that Graham is probably gone. I'm not sure. Oh, Graham?
Am I back? Okay. My headset cut out. Sorry about that.
No worries.
No, I was going to sit there and say, yeah, no, I was definitely picking up stuff there. It seems like when they're talking about columns and pillars, you definitely have that with the aleph met with each letter, and each letter with a left. You could have definitely, I'm getting the sense of columns out of there. And when you're dealing with intangible air and this super empty space, we're dealing with metaphysics. And you're dealing with the, prior to the creation of this world.
So
sort of concept.
I'm really glad you brought that up again, because I wouldn't have thought of it otherwise. But here we're going to end off with we're going to end off with this verse. I just need to find it. So it's let's see, is it here or is it this? It was the other one I had open. Let me just find it. It's not Sefer Yetzirah. It's it will only take one moment. And you will find this so fascinating. Oh, wait, I know. I can just search specifically for this. So, let's see. Prepared a feast. And the reason I'm typing it this is because I don't want to actually give away what I'm actually looking for. So it is, let's see, prepared a feast. It should be in, oh, wait, I can search specifically for Tanakh. So it's going to be in Proverbs. And it's not in this Proverbs, apparently. There must be two. Huh. Oh. Maybe prepared a meal. That's what it is. Prepared a meal. And it's not there either. I'm just going to, okay, let's see. Wisdom has hewn. Check this out. Chachmot. So this isn't chokhmah. This is chachmot. This is wisdoms. Banta has built beita, her house. Chatzava, she has hewn. Amudea, shiva, 7 pillars.
Nice.
So yeah, and I just want to end off here with this commentary, because Rashi gives us 2 rabbit holes down potentially. Let's see, where's Rashi? Rashi. Wisdom has built her house. With wisdom has the Holy One, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like basically God, or, the ineffable one, like the me, blessed be he, built the world. She has hewn her 7 pillars, the 7 days of creation. Another explanation is that this refers to the 7 books of the Torah, since Numbers 10:35, and it came about when the ark traveled, is an individual book, as it is stated in Tractate Shabbat.
Yeah, and I still always go, the 7 chakras, 7 different dimensions of perception. There are all sorts of different ways we can go on stuff.
And so just one thing to point out here, though. So this word, tavcha, tivcha, so this is intensive. It's saying she certainly has done this thing. And this word tavcha, it means to slaughter, slay, butcher, or kill ruthlessly. and here translates it as she has prepared the feast. So it's literally referring to the sacrificial slaughtering.
Okay, yeah, no, I see that.
And then here it says, mascha, she has mixed or mingled or poured into, yena, her wine, af archa, and also archa, she has set, shulchana, her table. And then here it just goes into, she has sent out her maids to announce on the heights of the town. So mirome, from the heights, karet, of the town. Let the simple enter here. To those devoid of sense, she says, come, eat my food and drink the wine that I have mixed. You also see like this kind of, mirroring within the communion and the Eucharist.
Now, when they talk about the mixing wine, do you have any specific meaning attributed to that specifically, or?
So it's masach. It's the same word as like, so nesach yain. It's basically, you're not supposed to accept wine from pagans, according to the Talmud, because they might have mixed the wine in the use of pagan rituals. So there's a context.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because there's often a lot of correspondence between Jewish rites and Egyptian rites. In Egypt, the most common mixing with wine was the blue lotus extract.
Interesting. And so here, look at this. So the beginning of wisdom, techilat chokhmah, is the fear of the Lord. It repeats this again. Vidat kedoshim binah, and the knowledge of the whole. Well, this is interesting. It's not vidat kedosha or vidat kadosh or hakadosh. It's the knowledge of the holy ones is understanding. Holy crap. Do you see this? Kedoshim. But this kedoshim is also a word for holy crap. This is huge. So look at this. Wait, shoot. Anyway, Kedoshim is used to refer to the temple prostitutes, Kadesha and Kadeshim, Kadesha and Kadesh. And so here it's saying, wait, where was it? Interesting. So this is interesting. 6 things the Lord hates, and 7 are an abomination to him. So you have the 7 like good and 7 bad. But here's what I wanted to point out. And where was it? It was shoot. Oh, funny, lazy bones. Hold on. I let me just go back up here real quick, and we'll finish off. So here it is. So let's see. Wait, okay, here it is. Okay, yeah, here. So instruct a wise man and he will grow wiser. Teach a righteous man and he will gain in learning. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, and knowledge of the holy ones or the holies is understanding. For through me your days will increase, and years will be added to your life. Orach Yamim, or Rabo Yamim rather. If you are wise for yourself. If you are a scoffer, you bear it alone. The stupid woman bustles about. She is simple and knows nothing. She sits in the doorway of her house or on a chair at the heights of the town, calling to all the wayfarers who go about their own affairs. Let the simple enter here. And to those devoid of sense, she says, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten furtively is tasty. He does not know what the shades are there, that her guests are in the depths of Sheol. What? This is interesting. I wonder what it's referring to by this. But that's something for another time, unless I can. Yeah. No,
I need to get going here.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, have a great night or morning, I guess.
Exactly. No, this was a lot of fun. We hit on a bunch of good stuff, and need to figure out what those numbers mean tomorrow. So
definitely, and hopefully, we'll try to start earlier. It's just because I woke up really late tonight.
Nah, things happen. It's all good. We'll get to it tomorrow.
All right.
Talk to you later, Ariel. You have a good one.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. And now to finish off, because I honestly don't like ending off on my face. I don't know. I'm just very self-conscious about that. not about my face, but about ending off on it. So let's.
זה דבר חשוב, מצוות בלב, אמן.